We've already had some contentious moments tonight, and a viewer sent us this question for both of you. Louisa wrote, and I'm quoting here, "Why can't anyone talk about the issues with our state and the USA instead of bashing each other? They're all acting like 5-year-olds. Enough is enough." Both of your campaigns have spent millions of dollars on television ads. That adds up to upwards of 200 hours on TV. What do you think of all the negativity, and what does that say to Granite Staters about your ability to find common ground and unify people? Mayor Craig, to you first.
Thank you. You know, I think it's very important that residents in New Hampshire know who we are and what our backgrounds are. And our ads have focused on votes that Kelly Ayotte has taken. She's voted for a national abortion ban. She's voted to defund Planned Parenthood. She's on the board of Blackstone at a time when our state is dealing with a significant housing crisis, making millions and millions of dollars for herself when people cannot find a home in our state and in our country. She does not represent the values of New Hampshire. My campaign has focused on the issues that are resonating with residents. We have traveled across this state, having conversations with businesses and residents. I've heard about how people can't afford housing, how they're worried about their reproductive freedom. They're concerned about public schools and the state not funding public schools, and the high cost of energy, and that we could make a change in that by investing in renewable energy and really saving our residents money. And that's what I'm focused on. And she's also interested in giving a massive tax break to millionaires like herself. That's unacceptable when hardworking families are suffering in our state.
There's a lot there, but 30 seconds, Senator.
First of all, you just heard it from Joyce Craig. She just wants to talk about all these things that are lies and misleading about me. But I want the people of New Hampshire to understand that, unfortunately, she wants to raise their taxes. You just heard it. She wants to impose a $160 million income tax that the legislature has already voted out. She wants to bring it back on retirees and those saving for retirement. And also, the New Hampshire Advantage, if she's the governor, you can kiss it goodbye. Every year in office, when she put forward a budget, she would propose a tax increase. That is not what we need here in New Hampshire. And by the way, I am proud to keep this state on the path that Governor Sununu has had us on. I'm a lifelong New Hampshire person. I love this state. As a senator, I worked across the aisle. I was one of the most bipartisan senators. I was originally appointed by a Republican and a Democrat. I know how to bring people together to get things done for the people of New Hampshire.
I've been very clear. I do not support a sales or an income tax and would veto anything if it came across my desk. I will not raise taxes on middle-class families or on small businesses. I'm looking to save our working families money. We need to make sure that we are doing that. They're hurting. And she is for a massive tax increase for millionaires. And when that happens, that's going to increase our local property taxes. And the issue at hand right now is that the state is continuing to downshift costs to our local communities. And that has to stop. That's how we save when it comes to local property taxes.
But we want to get back.
Wait, I need to answer this. First of all, the legislature and the governor has eliminated the interest and dividends tax. It's gone. And she's going to bring it back from the dead. It's Halloween tomorrow, folks. If you're a retiree or you're saving for retirement, she's already said in this campaign she's going to increase your taxes. 71,000 people file for that income tax here in New Hampshire, and she wants to bring it back. And so the idea that somehow she's out there and she's going to protect the New Hampshire Advantage, it's just not true. If she's willing in a contested campaign to talk about increasing your taxes, imagine what she's going to do when she's governor. We need to balance the budget, live within our means, manage the budget in the way that Governor Sununu has, and be responsible for the people of New Hampshire.
We do want to get an answer from you on that original question because we haven't gotten to ask it yet. What do you think of all this negativity in the campaign, and what does it say about your ability to unify people?
I have
30 seconds.
I have a proven record of unifying people because, again, as a U.S. Senator, I was the third most bipartisan senator. I worked across the aisle on multiple issues for the people of New Hampshire, whether it was protecting our environment, whether it was supporting our first responders. I worked, for example, with Jeanne Shaheen on protecting pregnancy discrimination when there was an issue that came up. I've also worked, in addition to help our veterans on health care, work with Senator Shaheen on that. So I know how to work across the aisle, even when you have disagreements. And that's what we need as governor of the state of New Hampshire. I can also stand up to my party when we need to, because
Senator.
we have to do what's right for the state.